I am an avid listener to entrepreneurial books. In particular, I like listening to entrepreneurial stories, motivational, inspirational, entrepreneurial learning. And I do a lot of that through the Audible app. I also listen to quite a few podcasts. And I find that it's a really effective and efficient way of keeping your mind energized with entrepreneurial thinking. And quite often when I'm speaking to budding entrepreneurs, they ask me for recommendations, book recommendations that I would either read or recommend listening to. And I would say that there are three books that would go right to the top of the list of reading if you haven't read them already, if you're looking for motivation, inspiration, and a foundational entrepreneurial mindset. So I'd start with the granddaddy of them all, which is Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. Now, Think and Grow Rich was written way back in the 30s, got a fantastic story behind it, where Napoleon Hill was asked by Andrew Carnegie, who was then the richest man in the world, to go and do a survey on all the millionaires around America based on what it was that made them different. What was it that made them rich? And Napoleon Hill, who was an absolute meticulous researcher, went and interviewed over 100 millionaires. And this is back when millionaires were more like billionaires. So you got people like Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and some of the really like Rockefeller, these guys that were the big names in entrepreneurship back in those days. And then he took all of those traits and put them into a book. And the book is called Think and Grow Rich because really becoming wealthy, becoming super successful is all about mindset. It's about what you think about when you're asleep. It's what you think about when you wake up in the morning. It's what you think about before you go to bed. And that book encapsulates it all. So if I haven't read it already, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. The second book that I recommend for budding entrepreneurs is Michael Gerber's The E-Myth, and the E stands for entrepreneur. And what I love about that book is it really teaches you the fundamentals of what it takes to be successful as an entrepreneur. Because a lot of people go into entrepreneurship with rose-colored spectacles. You know, they look at things thinking that I'm going to become much richer, much quicker, and I won't have to work as hard because, you know, the bosses always earn all the money and they get all the other people to do the work for them. Well, the E-Myth describes how most small businesses end up working harder and earning less money than if they had a job. And understanding that and being able to apply the principles in that book really going to help you understand that being a super successful person is all about front loading all of the work. You have to work like a maniac in the early stages in order to become that aspirational boss, that entrepreneur that actually, you know, can have that lifestyle business. But you've got to put all the work up front. And you know, in that book, The E-Myth, it explains that in fantastic detail. And then the third book, and it's not the sort of in any particular order, by the way, but the book that I will always go to get motivation, inspiration, and to just give me that boost. And it's Grant Cardone's The 10X Rule. Now, the 10X Rule is all about thinking big. It's all about 10Xing what it is that you need to do in order to be successful. The thing that I love about it is that he really encapsulates with his enthusiasm and his motivational, exciting talk, just how hard you have to work. In the book, he says, most people massively underestimate the amount of effort and energy it takes to be successful. And nobody gets that across more than Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone is an absolute maniac. His work ethic is unbelievable. But he teaches you in that book that it's all about mindset. And the truth is, as I tell all entrepreneurs, when you are excited, motivated, and driven by your business, you'll work like a maniac anyway. You'll 10x it anyway. You won't even notice you're doing it. So those are my three recommendations. And just briefly, I'd like to say that the reason that I mostly listen to talking books is because I can be listening to them whilst I'm doing other things like driving or traveling or working out, meaning that I can listen to these books multiple times and it starts to become habit. The thoughts and the processes and the thinking within these books gets driven into my mind. And just like it says in Think and Grow Rich, repetition, repetition, repetition is what it takes to actually build up something that has got real sustainability. So I hope you like those. I hope you like these videos that I'm doing. If you want to get more content like this, please like and subscribe. And if you've got any suggestions about something that you want to hear about in the entrepreneurial space, let me know, put it in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one.